Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. Today I'm going to bring you along for another week's worth of dinners. This week's What's for Dinner is just a little bit different because it is part of an open collaboration that I'm doing with my sweet friend Jennifer over at the YouTube channel Cook, Clean, and Repeat. We decided to put this on for y'all so that we can have one big playlist of a lot of different creators participating in What's for Dinner. So after you check out my video, be sure to go down in the description box below and go check out Jenn's video and her channel, as well as the playlist. Hopefully there's gonna be a lot of different creators that are participating, so you will get tons of ideas for dinners for your family. If you are new to my channel and you're coming from the open collaboration playlist, hi, I'm Mandy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do What's for Dinners every single week, as well as some grocery hauls and farmhouse decor content, all kinds of great stuff. So I'd love for you to join my YouTube family. With that being said, let's get into this week. Hey y'all, it is Sunday and I don't normally cook on Sundays simply because we usually have small group with church. But tonight we are having a church-wide picnic and I signed up to make my baked bean casserole, which is one of our favorite dishes. I think I've shown this on my channel before, but I know I have a lot of new subscribers, so I thought I would show y'all how to make this really yummy dish. If you have a picnic or a barbecue that you're going to, you will be the star of the show if you bring this. The first thing we're going to do is cut up some bacon. You can use 6 to 8 slices. You could definitely use pre-cooked bacon if you wanted to and just pop it in the microwave to make it even easier, but we like the real thing, so I'm going to chop it up into small pieces and go and put it on the stove to cook it up. While I'm letting this skillet heat up, I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350. While I'm waiting on the skillet to heat up, I'm going to go ahead and chop up these two things. I've got a green bell pepper. I'm going to seed it and I'm going to finely dice it, as well as a small onion. So our pan is really good and ready, and it is ready for all of this great bacon. I'm gonna throw this on here and just cook this up before we do anything else. While this is cooking, I went ahead and grabbed a plate and put a paper towel on it just so that I can drain this when it's done. While I'm still cooking this bacon and I'm waiting on the other pan to heat up, I wanted to tell y'all, this recipe came from Food Network. It is a Trisha Yearwood recipe, and a friend of ours that came over, and they don't even like baked beans, they loved this recipe. So even if you're not a huge baked beans fan, there's not that many beans in it. There's so much other goodness that's in there. Give it a try. Now that our pan is good and hot, I'm going to throw in 1.5 pounds of very lean ground beef. This is 93.7. So I'm going to throw that in there, as well as our onions and our bell pepper. Just something I wanted to point out to y'all, make sure you have a really deep skillet or pan that you're using to do this in, because you're going to put the rest of the ingredients in here along with it, and it's going to get really full. So if your pan is too small, it might overflow. The ground beef mixture is almost done. Really quickly, you're going to need a 9x13 baking dish, and you do want to spray it with some nonstick spray. This is done. It's time to add in the rest of our ingredients. So we're going to add in 2 cans of pork and beans, We're going to add in a half a cup of ketchup. And a half a cup of barbecue sauce. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of spicy brown mustard, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon of soy sauce, and 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. And we're going to let this sit here for about 5 minutes or so. You want it to come up to a small little simmer, and then we're going to be transferring it over to the baking dish. This has been simmering for several minutes, so now it's time to go ahead and transfer it over. Turn it off. It is very heavy. I'm glad that this particular pan has the extra handle over there. It's going to make it a lot easier. Before it goes into the oven, we're going to sprinkle all of this bacon over top of it. Last thing I wanted to show you is you're just going to cover it with some aluminum foil. And it's going to go in your 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. So this is going to bake for 45 minutes, and then after that I'm going to bring it out, take the aluminum foil off, and put it back in for 10 more minutes, and then it's going to be done. It's been 10 minutes, so let's take it out. Unfortunately, we can't do a taste test for y'all on this, simply because it's not just us eating it. We're taking it to church, and I'm not going to ask people at church if I can stick a camera in their face, but I promise y'all we've had this several times, and it is one of our favorite dishes, so give it a try. Hey y'all, it is Monday night, and we are doing a really simple dinner tonight. We've got to go to a funeral home visitation, so we've kind of got to get out the door quickly, so I thought I would keep it simple tonight. I was gonna do sloppy joes just out of the can. Y'all seen me make that before, the manwich. But I had so many of y'all tell me to try the Pioneer Woman's version of sloppy joes, so that's what we're doing tonight. Let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is heat up this very large skillet to medium-high heat. One thing I forgot to mention, we are halving this recipe. It says 2.5 pounds of ground beef. We don't need that much. We always just make a pound, so that's what we're gonna kind of tailor this to. I'm gonna link it below for you, so you can always half it as well if you don't need that much. So when I mention measurements tonight, that's half of the amount that the recipe calls for. Just wanted to give you all that heads up. So we're gonna do half of a green bell pepper, diced. And I'm using half of an onion, not quite even half, really. And I always quarter it up before I put it in the chopper. First thing we're gonna do is add a tablespoon of butter to this hot skillet. The butter has melted, so we're going to add in a pound of ground beef. The hamburger meat is brown. If you have a lot of fat in yours, you're going to want to drain it, but ours is a lean mixture, so it's not something that I need to drain, so we're gonna move on. So now we're gonna add in the onions and bell pepper. And we're gonna add in about 3 cloves of minced garlic. To this, we're gonna add about 3/4 a cup of ketchup. About a tablespoon or so of brown sugar. A teaspoon or so of chili powder. It says more to taste. We like a lot of chili powder, so about a 1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard. And about a 1/2 cup of water. This part is optional, but we are going to add in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Also optional is Tabasco sauce. We didn't have that. We just have Texas Pete, so we're just going to add that in. And a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I'm not sure how much this is, maybe about a 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon. Again, that is just to taste. And for a little extra kick, we're just gonna throw a little bit of red pepper flakes in there too. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper to taste. Stir all that to combine, and we're gonna let it simmer for about 15 minutes. It's almost done, but I just wanted to tell you, normally I would do French fries, but because we're kind of in a hurry tonight, we're just doing chips. We're keeping it simple, y'all. This looks really good. So, let's get it on the hamburger bun. Go. Okay, so true taste test right here.
Here we go. Sloppy Joe's, one of my favorites.
So messy.
You just gotta get in there. Oh wow, look at that. Wow, that is really, really, really good.
Better than the Manwich stuff?
Better than the Manwich can stuff for sure. That's really good, very tasty. I mean, lots of flavor. I mean, you can definitely get the ketchup and the Worcestershire and the Texas Pete, all of those spices in there. I mean, it's just really good. Let's have another bite. It's so rich. I mean, it is just packed full of flavor. It's really, really good. Got that good garlic taste to it. You don't get that out of the can. You don't have that rich, garlicky goodness coming out of it. It's really good.
Awesome. What do you think, Gracie Lou? She's in there because she got in trouble because she got under our feet constantly. So she's just sitting there patiently waiting. And don't let her fool you. She'll be in here in about 3.5 seconds. Hey y'all, it is Tuesday and we are gonna have pizza casserole. Fun fact, we were supposed to have something else and I realized I forgot something at the grocery store. Anyway, we're having pizza casserole. This is everything I need to go in it. Let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is cook these according to the directions. Not this whole box, we're only gonna do about 2 cups, so about half of the box. Now you just need a medium-sized skillet. We're gonna put it on about medium-high heat, and I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350. So we've got about a pound of meat browning, but this recipe only calls for about a half a pound. So we decided, just because I have 1 pound portions frozen, that we would cook all of it. We're gonna save about half of it for some other thing. We're not sure what we'll use it for, but it'll get used. So you saw me cooking a whole pound, but the recipe tells you to cook only half a pound. A little trick I have, just to make sure you get all of the pizza sauce out of there, is I put a tiny bit of water in there. I put the lid back on. I'm going to shake it up really good. And then I'm going to pour what's left back in there. This is 4 tablespoons of milk. Combine all of that. We're going to add our cooked noodles. Once this is good and combined, we're going to add it to our casserole dish to go into the oven. Now we're just going to add in our pepperonis. And this is where you can get kind of creative. If there's a topping that you like on your pizza, then it will go fine in here. So if you like mushrooms or olives or whatever, you could do like maybe pickled jalapenos, which is something that we would actually really like. We should try. I'm just kind of layering these on top, but I'm gonna mix them through. It calls for a cup of pepperoni. I just kind of eyeball it just to make sure there's enough to go throughout. And we're gonna pop this into the oven for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we will top it with about a cup of mozzarella cheese and put it back in there just to let the cheese melt, and then it's gonna be time to eat. Going back in the oven for about 5 more minutes, just long enough to let the cheese melt.
Get some pepperonis in here, some of this hamburger meat. Make sure you gotta get a pepper. There we go. It tastes like pizza, except it's pasta. It's really, really good. Love the cheese, the pepperonis, which is my favorite part. The crunch of the onion and the pepper. So good.
Hey y'all, it is Wednesday and I am starting to get dinner ready. We are having chicken stew tonight, and this is a chicken stew. It's a copycat recipe from a local restaurant here that is famous for their chicken stew. So I will share the recipe below. Right now, all I'm doing is I just took all of the chicken off of a rotisserie chicken that I got from Walmart. It's a smaller one. And the recipe tells you, the copycat recipe tells you to go through and not only shred this, but here in just a second, I'm gonna start squeezing it and really shredding it like super, super fine. You don't want big chunks at all for this chicken stew. This is the consistency we're going for, just super finely shredded. Here's the remainder of the ingredients we're gonna need for the chicken stew. One last thing I forgot to show y'all that we need, it's very important, it's 4 cups of milk. Okay, so I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of butter in here and let that melt. Now I'm just gonna throw this entire onion that's been diced in here and saute these until they are translucent and tender. All right, now that these are done, we're gonna add in 3 cans of evaporated milk. We're adding in our 4 cups of milk. And 2 chicken bouillon cubes. You need to stay here and constantly kind of stir this every couple of minutes. You don't want this to boil, but you want to get the milk completely hot and you want the bouillon cubes to completely dissolve. So that's going to be about 20 minutes or so. And now it's time to stir in the chicken. So I'm going to dump all of this chicken down in there. that a stir. And I'm also going to add a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of pepper. Add just a few dashes of paprika. So there we go. I'm gonna stir that in and let all of this simmer for about 10 minutes. Okay, this has been heating through for about 10 minutes or so. And now the recipe says you could add a half a can of cream of chicken soup or a whole can for a creamier chicken stew. So I'm gonna add the whole can of the cream of chicken soup. It'll probably take around 10 to 15 minutes to completely let this thicken up and heat through, and then it's gonna be time to eat.
Oh, it's so creamy. I mean, that's the best chicken stew you could get. Delicious.
Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed another week's worth of dinners. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did, because that totally helps out my channel, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.